All right, Earthlings, welcome back to the Thundering Dice channel with your hosts, the Thundering Dice Brothers, and tomorrow is the Season 3 finale of Wheel of Time on Prime. So, we wanted to drop a quick video and let you know what our predictions for this penultimate episode of the season and possibly, unfortunately, the entire show are.
But before we get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Swear the dark oaths to us and let us prognosticate what will happen in the future. Alright, and there are a lot of storylines that need to be wrapped up rather quickly in episode 8. First one, let's just go Lanfear, Rand, and Moraine. And a little bit of Egwene, who knows exactly what type of role she'll play. But definitely, there's a head-to-head with Lanfear. I'm kind of assuming that Moraine dies only because in the trailer it says in every iteration that I live, Rand dies or goes mad or some shit like that, and the only one that he survives is blank. I'm going to assume that heavily ties into the ending here. Now, how that comes about and how her resurrection might come about later on is a really good question, because unless Alkir Dal also has a twisted tongue reel, a stone red door, I don't know how they're going to put this together.
Yeah, they have to have some way of basically stashing Moraine away for multiple seasons or multiple storylines. The red store doorframe was perfect because it ties into a whole bunch of other stuff as well. I mean, it's perfect because it's out of the book, but there is no red store doorframe as far as we know near Moraine. Yeah. So might there be another portal type device there that she falls through or they get trapped in or something? Who knows? But yeah, there's going to have to be some sort of showdown. And they've led up to it too much. They've talked too much about it in promos, and she's had discussions about it with Lan, and she's been through the rings in Ruidian. So yeah, that's probably going to happen. I mean, they might leave it off till next season for some reason because there's a lot of other stuff that has to go on. But no, you're probably right. It's not just smoke and mirrors. They're probably going to have that head to head, and that also means we're not going to have theoretically Lanfear for a while either because they got to stash her for a while and. Who knows what kind of body swapping the Dark One does in this turning of the wheel, if any. Probably, I hope none, because I really like these actors as they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Replacing them is, it's not like... you have to have the same personality traits, but in a completely different face. So the next actor would have to basically be playing a imitation or hopefully not a parody. That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
It could end up looking like a parody.
Yeah. And then, so however that goes down, I'm pretty sure Moraine is going to die. Or they do some weird thing, like where the Sakarnan is so powerful, but it was also given to another Aes Sedai by the Eilfin, that she somehow, uses too much of it and doesn't burn herself out, but, transports herself magically over to that realm, and that's how she gets stuck in there. I don't really see that one coming, but I could definitely see that happening, maybe. Now, moving on to Rand, obviously, we already see him at Alkir Dal proclaiming the two dragons on his arms, so we know he's going to do that. He'll probably he has to reveal to the rest of the chiefs and the clans what the Aiel truly are. Couladin has to freak out. Now, will there actually be a battle there, or will it just be like a retreat on Couladin's thing, just to go over the dragon wall and then take his revenge? I'm going to guess maybe a small skirmish. I doubt Rand is really going to have much to do.
Which is really unfortunate again.
Yeah. Especially considering, is he going to also then be aware of the battle with Lanfear and Moraine happening, who knows, maybe simultaneously? So those two plot arcs might also meet.
Now, what could happen, because we've complained a few times about how laissez-faire Moraine is about guarding the Sakarnan.
Yes.
What if Lanfear gets a hold of it, finds out that, or has some kind of a jealous fit of rage on Rand again, like that happens in the books plenty, and actually happens in this scenario. Could it be that she has a Sakarnan, basically just dominates the shit out of them all? Moraine does something heroic, and then the power gets out of control from the Sakarnan, and they get zapped away into the ether or some gaps in the space-time continuum. Who knows? So that's one possibility. I'd really like to have Rand have a cool moment that's sort of all his, though. It's very disappointing. Every single season there seems to be a lack of Rand being Rand the Dragon Reborn. He doesn't have a great standalone finale episode. It's nice to have teamwork, just like in Barney or something, but this is the freaking Wheel of Time. Like, he's the Dragon Reborn. No one is in any doubt that he's going to be the most powerful channeler and has a destiny and needs to learn all this crazy shit. There's no doubts about that. So I want to have some kind of a moment there. Now, Ian, do you think if he was going to have a moment, it would be with another Forsaken? Like, is Samael going to come back? He's not quite dead. Or is Asmodean somehow going to appear in the last hour?
I kind of doubt that any Forsaken is going to pop up on Rand's side for him to battle. I think we got his Forsaken moment and his channeling battle in episode 6.
Brief though it was when
Samael attacks Cold Rock Hold, and Rand just basically turns around and goes Super Saiyan on him. And I'm pretty sure he's dead from that. Well, not dead, because the Dark One will definitely bring him back because he wasn't killed by Balefire. So I'm pretty sure that is the extent of Rand's badass channeling, unless it'll have to do with him protecting himself against Couladin's forces. But even that, if that happens, that actually might be like some really cool shit because he'll just fucking train Rand.
That could be pretty amazing.
He's gotten power level. From episode 6, he channels like 3 separate times. And that's more channeling than you see him do basically the entire series so far.
And that last scene we saw him channeling, he made it look just contemptuously easy to dispatch one of the Forsaken, who had an object of power too. Some kind of power-wrought weapon or an Ungriel, who knows. But either way, he didn't even have to look at him. He was just, enamored with the amount of power that was in his body, and he was just using it without thought completely to destroy this Forsaken. Now, whatever happened to Samael after that or during that is unclear, I suppose. And we'll probably get a resolution, I suppose, in this episode.
Yeah, probably not. So that's probably what, the extent of what's going to happen with Rand. I don't know if Perrin will make another appearance. I'm very sure he will, just because you could just leave that story arc there with him getting let off in chains,
which is probably what
I
would
that
prefer.
would be the smartest move. Yes, that would be the smartest move if they just let it happen, let it lay there. I'm very doubtful that will happen. My guess is that Falael and Bane and Chiad and maybe Will and the other blacksmith apprentice, or a combination of them, or possibly Tam coming back with Abel and Perrin's family. They go to rescue him. Maybe also with a little bit of a combination of book 1 when he's initially captured and Jayard gives him the stone to escape because he wants to kill him as he's escaping. So there could be a combination of all 3 of those plot lines merging together to get Perrin back. I just don't see him staying there. And he's certainly, if there's a trial, it'll be a sham one, and it, and he'll be found guilty.
It would take up so much time out of the episode.
That's why I'm unlikely. That's why I don't believe there will be a trial.
That's why they gave him an entire episode as his finale. Loya had his finale, and then the cliffhanger, he gets let off in chains, which absolutely would be best, the cold open of season 4.
But they're not going to do it. I just guarantee you.
We'll see. Well, it's
this is a prediction video, guys. Yes, we will bet
2 bits.
2 bets exactly. So this is just that's my guess on what will happen if Perrin appears. That is my scenarios going with that. And then also you have the Tower, Suan, and Leon's.
And Varen, she's very much
who knows how much
up in
she will
too.
get affected though. Yeah, it's hard to say.
She's definitely going to be one of the main Aes Sedai characters that we follow throughout the story if it continues, I imagine.
Yeah.
So we've got the Tower storyline to wrap up. We've got Elida has to basically seize control of the Tower. Swan and Leon need to be deposed, instilled, or killed, however they end up playing that. Varen, who knows? Varen is just the wild card. No idea what's going to happen with her because she's pretty integral. She's got her sister who is obviously still got something rattling around up there. It's just kind of disconnected and disjointed, and she probably can still channel. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting to see how that develops as sort of a mini side, just esoteric philosophy kind of plot, I suppose. A little more depth in the world of channeling and what they can and can't do with healing. Who knows? That's way beyond the scope of this speculation, though. But we got Swan and Lyanna, so obviously we got to have that showdown. Elida has to depose them, so either by the same circuitous methods that Swan and Lyanna used in episode 1 to only have a certain number of sitters in the tower. I assume they're going to just co-opt that and be like, haha, you did it. You set precedence too. You broke precedence before we did.
Yeah.
So
most
screw you,
likely.
mother. And that's what is going to get them deposed, or that's how they're going to depose them, I imagine.
Will the Blue Aja, though, split from the tower?
I think they have to.
Yeah, like it's a huge part of the story. I don't know how you continue it without that happening.
You need to set up Egwene as the rival Merlin.
So you have to make
exile.
this. Yeah, so you have to make this really nasty. Now how will the Wonder Twins, in this respect, Gawain and Galad, fall into this, because they're active players now, and we both have them. So I could see Gawain, Jesus fucking Christ, Gawain staying with the tower. And ironically, I could see a Galad going with to the White Cloaks, or going with the Blues initially and then peeling off later.
Because I really don't know very much about either of their characters in the show so far. We know they're kind of arrogant, douchebag, spoiled, rich kids.
Yeah,
for sure. And that they like to bang scullery maids and stuff.
And that Galad is just as stuck up in the books as he is in the show.
And that Matt can kick both of their asses every day and twice on Sunday.
Yes, that was beautiful. So how they will play into into that's going to be interesting.
I'd be perfectly fine with them never showing up again, because they're Valda's already dead, so Galad doesn't have anyone to kill and assume control of the White Cloaks. Perrin is having some weird shit go down with the White Cloaks now that may resolve tension with the White Cloaks going forward, which means that the whole trial with Galad and Morghese and this whole Perrin swooping down and saving their asses finally and accepted lordship finally could be speed ran and turn into something better and more productive than waiting 5 seasons for it to happen.
True.
So if both of them, and then the love interest with Gawain and Egwene,
Whoa!
Jesus, sorry, with Egwene could probably be written out too. I mean, it's really mostly annoying. He just kind of gets in the way, and his blood knife stuff and protecting her could probably be written by or she could be saved by some other means.
Yeah,
and she could still absolutely die in the same way.
Yeah.
In the last battle by having her crazy power moment. It's gonna, just make it inevitable some other way, not because it's prophesied by Min or anything, or because she's lost the water bond and is going insane and is going to kill herself either way.
Yeah, she could just be like, I refuse to let the pattern unravel, and I will be the stubborn bitch who heals it.
Which is exactly what her character needs to do. So, yeah. We had our laughs at the pretty boys, and they could basically fuck off and not really impact the story. I mean, what does Gawain actually do? He never actually gets to kill Rand. Never even gets close to it.
He does save Egwene, though, when she's deep in Teleron Rio.
Couldn't somebody else do that too?
Well, no,
another warder
no. Another warder could. I just mean like that's probably the most important part he does.
I guess it'd be easy to keep him around too. I mean, whatever. I mean, I guess I have no strong feelings one way or the other. I have a heart full of neutrality.
Bullshit.
All right, so that leaves us with the plot line
in
Tanshiko. So we've got a blocked Nynaeve who's going to finally channel, hopefully. And beat the shit out of Moghedien.
Oh, have to. Please do this.
We've got Elaine having some part to play in this, because I don't imagine the politics stuff coming up in the last hour here either.
No.
So she's probably not going to be saving the Panarch of Terabon.
Yeah.
They'll probably have a showdown collectively with all of the Black Sisters and Moghedien in the palace. Sort of split away, I imagine. So
there are a couple stills already that show what I assume is balefire from Jane. So
in some respect, you might have some of the Black Sisters battling Elaine, and then you'll have Moghedien and possibly Liandrin, which would be interesting.
Yeah,
battling Nynaeve. Or does Liandrin get smacked down by Moghedien first with the shield? Do we see that in this episode? There's a lot to pack in, so I don't know if we see any of this stuff or all of it, or if what they're even planning on doing, because like we alluded to in the beginning, this may be it. I haven't heard any news of a season 4 yet.
It's still in negotiations.
Yeah. So.
And then also Matt. Does he find his fox head medallion in the Panarch's palace, just as a museum piece? Is there a twisted door frame that he also then...
Because we see him hanging in front of one, so is there one there? There could very well be
another. Or the writers just being confident in this respect and saying, well, we'll get to this in season 4 if it happens, so here's a little, dingleberry to tease you.
Interesting choice of words, but I take your meaning, and it just seems like an awfully lot to get through in 71 minutes.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot.
would really have liked a longer final episode, unless this is literally just not even tying off all the plot lines and not trying to finish every story in this season, and they're going to carry on some stuff. So I could theoretically see Perrin's freedom happening in season 4.
If they're smart, they'll do it.
I could theoretically see the showdown between Moraine and Lanfear happen in season 4. And so I could, that would mean that we leave a little more space for 2 of the main plot lines. We have the Rand plot line with Couladin and announcing himself at Alcair Dal and the fallout the fallout from that.
Yep.
And possibly a battle with another Forsaken. And then, of course, the other one is Nynaeve, Morgedian, Elaine, Jincade, Leandrin, Matt, going through some kind of a door frame that he could just get pushed into it during a fight trying to protect the Wonder Girls from Mogedian or something. Who knows? Or he's just goes through it because he's curious cat Matt.
Yeah.
But that would be interesting if they would push some of those storylines off, because it would be like, wow, they're really planning on a season 4.
Yeah, that would be cool. And then as a season 4, that would be a really dope opening.
Yeah, you could have like either Perrin getting rescued as part of a cold opening, or you could have Moraine and Lanfear. That's too, that needs more context. The Moraine and Lanfear thing would need more context. It could be a Perrin rescue, if anything.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty good summary of what we think is going to happen in the penultimate episode.
Yeah, let us know what you guys are hoping for in the comments. Let's all cross our fingers that we get to see season 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, because at this point, there are only 2 options. Cancel it or renew it and give us the whole damn show.
Yes, and I would prefer to see the whole show just out of a curiosity's sake.
Agreed, yep. Well, with that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and let's all enjoy the episode tomorrow, and we will catch you next time on the Thundering Dice channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below.
See you later.